Hey, this is Brian again, and I'd like to ask you to do a favor. We can't do this work without people like you, so if you can, please like, share, subscribe, and tell your friends about Bring Back the Porch.
When the buses started arriving and the energy in our community started to rise, and watching our community come together to really welcome everybody, I think that, I don't know, sometimes I struggle with myself as to what was the best moment, the athletes or our community, and I just bring them all together and think it was amazing in every step of the way.
This episode of Bring Back the Porch brought to you by Medicine Hat Monumental, crafting quality memorials of distinction since 1970. Well, back around 1980, there was a song that was quite popular by the Irish Rovers. It was, "Wasn't That a Party?" I'm sort of reminded of that right now because you have just come through what you called the greatest show that this city has ever seen. Natalie Sauer, chair of the Special Olympics Summer Games in Canada that have just wrapped up here in Medicine Hat, and Linda McDonald, who is a Games ambassador, join us on the porch here. Have you had a chance to catch your breath yet?
I think a little bit.
Yeah?
But I had to work the next. We had volunteer on Sunday, and I had to work Monday.
So you really haven't had a chance to kind of sit
Nope.
back and think about it. What about you, Natalie?
Well, I would say I did get a little bit better sleep on Sunday night than I had every other day, but there's still lots to do, Brian, when you wrap these up. There's still, staffing and all the equipment and all the things to put away and the finances, of course, to balance out. So still a lot of work in that aspect ahead of us, but the ride of the week will keep us going for a long time to come still.
Even with the rain.
Even, and on the opening ceremony, I actually told everybody we were the sunniest city. And guess what? My nose grew. But the rain was actually, in a sense, helpful. It would have been a lot more difficult had it been a 40-plus time frame. So we had a lot of logistical things in place for the heat. And luckily, we didn't have to bring those to fruition. So, and the athletes, specifically from both coasts, were happy to play in the rain. They're used to that.
You could tell. I could tell because I was able to watch soccer the one day it was raining. They didn't care about the rain.
No, kept them cool. Yeah. So, was it worth it?
Every minute of it. Absolutely, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just when the buses started arriving and the energy in our community started to rise, and watching our community come together to really welcome everybody, I think that, I don't know, sometimes I struggle with myself as to what was the best moment, the athletes or our community, and I just bring them all together and think it was amazing in every step of the way. So absolutely the grind of those years and all the things we had to do to get it to the finish line was worth every minute.
Yeah. You had to anticipate longer than expected because of the delay from 2022 and the cancellation of the games.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we did. We have been literally working on this, what I would say, 7 to 8 years, the conceptual bid and just putting the pieces into place. And then the fundraising, of course, had to start. So it was a bit of a bonus for us to have a longer period of time to raise the funds. Our community needed that. And so that did help to have that extra time. But yeah, we've been talking about this for a long time, so it's nice to know that we did it, we made it happen, and that we can enjoy every minute of those memories.
Did you get a chance to enjoy it while it was happening?
Yeah.
Yeah? Now, you were an ambassador. What was your role?
I actually got to help plan it, helped with picking the slogan, the pin design, our pin design, and help with choosing the meals that they were going to have and at the hotels, that the snack foods they were going to have when they had free time.
Are you a past athlete in the Special Olympics?
I'm actually an athlete, and I do figure skating, softball, and curling.
So that winter sports. So you had a little more time. Yeah. Did you find some friends during?
Yeah, I met some friends. I met some rhythmic gymnastics. I met someone at the bowling alley.
Mm-hmm. Now I understand that you collected some pins.
Yes.
How many?
72 different ones.
How did you do that?
Just went up and asked them for different pins.
Did you have some to trade yourself?
Yeah, we had our ambassador pin.
Okay. Yeah. So did you get a rare one? One that it's going to be like, whoa.
I got 2 rare ones. One's from PEI, and it was a tractor with a potato on. And then one was from the Northwest Territories, and it was the polar bear.
Okay. Now, that's kind of a tradition, I think, pin trading. I know a lot of curling events, they do that.
They do it at a lot of the national events.
Okay, yeah. What's the feedback being like from not only the athletes, but from the other organizing committees that brought the athletes to Medicine Hat?
Well, the chef de missions from every one of the chapters we worked with throughout the last 2 years. We had monthly meetings with them. A lot of them come from decades of experience of having gone to provincial and national games. And we had many come up to us afterwards and say, the best ones ever. So I think that feedback was in every way, shape, or form. And not that we had to be perfect, but that we pivoted every time we had to and solved and resolved their time frame. And mostly about how welcoming our community was, and that we were definitely, it was an event that was really part of the community, not just on the side of the community, and that was the biggest thing, all our beautiful hospitality.
Yeah. And I heard, and walking around taking pictures at like closing ceremonies, I heard that they all enjoyed it. We had a hamburger, hot dog, and poutine bar at the closing ceremonies, and I heard they all enjoyed it.
Okay. I was talking to someone who works in a store downtown in Medicine Hat, and they said several people from out of town were here because of the games, and they were walking around, and they said, you've got a beautiful downtown, a beautiful city. They loved being in Medicine Hat. Is that the legacy of these games?
Absolutely. Yes, I think we were a bit of a forgotten corner sometimes in southeastern Alberta, this smaller community, and people didn't know really existed. Even folks from Alberta that came and had never been our way, that we just assume everybody knows who we are. Mm-hmm. And from that, I think people will absolutely be coming back. And the reason I share that too, Brian, is because we not only had 10 sports going, but we also hosted a friends and family event in McDonald historic site. So that was something for everybody to see. And a lot of pottery folks from across the country were able to resonate with that. Of course, we had many trolley trips around the TP in our historic district. And we even had a contingency that stayed an extra day and rented a trolley privately and actually toured around our community and to let us know how beautiful it was. So I think we really did ourselves proud, for sure.
Yeah. I know Sally Sane did some of those trolley tours, and she was telling me she did, I think, 10, 20-minute tours in one day, and she could hardly talk at the end.
It's true.
She was talked out. There's a lot to cram into a 20-minute tour.
It is. Yeah. We did. We had opportunities. Tourism was amazing. They stepped up and had 3 different nights that they offered just to pick up for free from the college and shuffle everybody over to the teepee and just leave them there for 20 minutes and then come back with another one and just kind of revolving for about 3 hours for those 3 nights, so that the athletes did get a chance to take an opportunity for that.
Now, you said you had to pivot a couple of times. What was the biggest challenge that you faced?
I would say probably around the food aspect of things, that not that we didn't have everything in place, but we had box lunches that we had to follow the people where they were at. You know, we thought we had a number of them at Big Marble Ghost Center where we had over 800 people that we had to have box lunches for. So just to pivot to go and make sure we had enough or get more, or dietary needs that had to be met, and those kind of things, I would say probably the most. And the weather, again, we did have to prepare for that, and then how our contingency plans would be working out. So everything that we debriefed and briefed with the Special Olympics Canada team twice a day, and they had their boots on the ground, and so we would just connect and decide what needed to be done and what we needed to work on. Yeah.
What was it like standing in front of 6,500 people in the co-op place in the opening ceremony?
The honor of my life.
Really?
Absolutely. I think that looking out is really beautiful, because when you see the sea of color from all the chapters.
I don't even like looking at the pictures now that we can look on like the Canada Special Olympics site, just looking at the pictures and seeing it. I was like, wow. I was down in that. Yeah. I was down there and I couldn't see because I was down on the ice where the ice surface was, and I couldn't see it. So it's so neat that I could take time and like look at the pictures, and it's like, wow, I was down there.
Right?
It's like being a tree in the forest.
And we got to look down, and there was the Governor General of Canada and the Lieutenant Governor of Alberta. Like, how fortunate was that for our community that these people of this stature would come and loved it. I could tell you that we put together a schedule for both of them. We planned that out when they were here. We did their pre-planning, of course, in order to prepare for their arrival. And I think we hit those out of the park. They were able to enjoy every sport, every venue, connections with different people, and it was great.
And I know the Governor General couldn't meet all of the ambassadors, so she asked to meet the other ones at just before the opening ceremonies. And we actually got all the ambassadors got a picture with her, and we're getting a copy of that picture.
Yeah. Louise Arbour was, I think, enthralled by the entire event.
Every moment. And I'm going to tell you the highlight of that aspect was that Dr. Ken Sauer, who is really the reason that initiated all this, we were able to have a 10-minute time slot with Her Excellency and Ken Sauer, and they held hands immediately, and they are both Order of Canada people, and they had just a beautiful time together. That was such an honor for both of them to have share that time. So certainly from a family perspective, that was very beautiful and overwhelming for Ken, and he was just honored to have had that too.
I was especially gratified to see one of the pictures of Ken handing out medals.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You got to be part of it.
He did. That was very important for us. We had to just manage that time of what that would look like for him, and his great-grandchildren and his grandson took him on a tour of all the venues for a few hours, and we made sure there was an opportunity to hand out medals for him for sure.
Now, the volunteers, I know right up almost to the end, you were sweating whether or not you were going to have enough. Did we have enough?
We did, and I'll tell you what that looked like. Maybe not the amount, but what it did is more people just picked up more shifts, Brian. Soon as they started going, we just had people that said, "Oh, this is wonderful! I can do more, or I can stay longer," and so everything was fulfilled in that way. We had lots of folks that did come on board at the last couple weeks, and it was a bit of a grind to have that go over across the finish line. But our collective community just came and embraced it. And I would like to share with you, because Linda was there too at the closing. So in our closing speech, did certainly mention our volunteers, and to see 2,000 people stand up and give them a standing ovation when they weren't there. It was a very closed event, so it was only maybe less than 100 of those 1,500 volunteers there. But they gave a standing ovation, didn't they, Linda? It was amazing, yeah.
And I could say something, too, about the volunteers is on the Thursday, I was supposed to give out medals, and we kind of had a computer glitch at rhythmic gymnastics. And, the one person came over and said, "You guys can go if you want," but all the volunteers that were there to do the medals stayed until right to the end when they said it wasn't going to be a go that night.
Okay. They didn't want to leave.
They didn't,
No.
right? And I don't think there's one person that I talked to that didn't have a fulfilling experience. I think that says everything, as well as we held a volunteer appreciation on Sunday, and that's the highest amount of volunteers we ever had attending it. So usually a lot of people are kind of finished, and they don't want to go to one more thing, right? Right.
And I've never seen, I've been to some things at the carriage house. I've never saw that many people there.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, and I think it was just a beautiful opportunity for people to share their stories and their experiences, and that was perfect. Nobody really wanted to leave, so it was nice. It really resonated. Yeah.
Talk a little bit about the economic benefits to not only Medicine Hat but Southeast Alberta.
Absolutely. Well, we're anticipating it to be about 12 million is what we're seeing. We did have the Canada Tourism on site here, so that is a mandatory aspect of the games that we do an economic impact study. So we should probably have that result in the next couple of weeks, and just to really find out how much people were spending and what they were doing here. So absolutely a benefit for our community, and right through to Brooks. We filled almost all those rooms in Brooks as well. The overflow was huge, and just a lot of industries we're sharing, the coffee shops and all those things really benefit from this.
But I know I've had a few friends, parents of it, asking where they could go get food. So being with Northlands Co-op, I said that there. And I heard that they saw people in different provinces, with their shirts on and that, come into work.
Yeah. Let's pause for a moment so we can share some exciting news. We're proud to announce that our work here at Bring Back the Porch is getting noticed. From October to the end of January, our videos and reels viewed more than 1 million times. Some of those viewers could be your customers, so sponsoring Bring Back the Porch is a great way to get your message in front of them too. If you'd like to support our work here at Bring Back the Porch, we ask you to go to our website at bringbacktheporch.com and follow the links. Thank you for your support. Yeah. So you're an ambassador for your employer as well.
Yeah.
Well, good for you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think the enthusiasm was contagious. You can tell that just looking at some of the videos and the athletes encouraging each other, not just trying to beat each other.
I could say that, for being soft a softie, it was so hard not to cry with the athletes when I got to give medals for rhythmic gymnastics, not crying when you were giving them the medals, seeing them cry.
Yeah.
And the highlights of the athletes, there was one guy, every time he would go up, after he got 2 medals, I'm jingling. I'm jingling, and try not to laugh.
Right? Yeah. The athletes are really the centerpiece of all of everything, and that's the reason everyone had such a fulfilling, experience and opportunity. And this was right from when they showed up at Calgary Airport. We had a team of about 25 people up there to greet them and put bus ambassadors on the bus and brought them to Medicine Hat, and it carried on from there. And every volunteer had shared the stories about the connection to the athletes in every way, shape, or form. So they are really the reason that I think everyone to this now day and carries their experience forward is the joy that everybody felt because of just the beautiful way that they really respect one another, that they bring joy and support to one another. It's sportsmanship over the moon that you don't ever see anywhere else.
I know Brian Varga told us when he was here back in February, as we're about 6 months out, that he has been at other games, and he says the athletes always remember him.
Yes,
because they see his face. I know you.
That's true.
That happened to me. Was going to a few, I went to nationals for powerlifting sometime in the early 2000. One of the athletes remembered me from then.
Really? Yeah. So you make lifelong friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you are very memorable.
Yeah.
I would never forget you either, for sure. Yeah.
Tell me about the High Five Fest.
Yes, yeah. So that is, it's not a mandatory event that you have to host. It was just something that we happened to see that Calgary did in 2024. It kind of rolled out to something about a bit of a festival around some medal presentations. And we thought, a majority of the athletes didn't have something to do on Saturday because majority of the sports were finished. And why don't we just bring a high five feeling to the college and just see how it goes. And it was full, wasn't it? It was full.
There was lots of people. Sometimes you could hardly move in the entrance of the college.
Yeah, so we offered the medal presentations and activities for them to enjoy and outdoor games and music. And we did everything we could to make it a celebration, and that worked out beautifully.
But what I thought was nice is they brought the cauldron over to the college so the teams could get pictures in front of the cauldron, and it was lit.
Yes.
Yeah. The flame was a special part, too, of the Olympics. And was the feeling like when it was turned off?
I know. I do. Well, Mayor Clark, she's the one that announced it closed, and she had to take a big sigh too before she said the word closed, because, yeah, it's a it's a huge emotional wave. It's mentally, physically, all people in, and then it's all of a sudden it's over. Very quickly, and so that was a difficult, I would say, difficult part for everybody. Weren't they? Even the athletes were saying it was really sad to see them go. So I think it was certainly they resonated with everybody in that way.
And it's something I tried to do. Like, we had 5 athletes from Medicine Hat there. Yes, I did visit with them, but I tried to visit with more of the athletes that weren't from the 5 that were from Medicine Hat.
Yeah. One of the moments I saw on social media was the fellow on the 16th hole at the Medicine Hat Golf and Country Club when he got a hole-in-one. That got national attention.
Is that something?
Yeah.
I happened to just walk over to the golfers, just be there at that point in time, and we have 2 chair people that were running that event, Farley Wiseman and Cam Jakes, and I think they were more excited than the golfer, but the celebration was amazing and beautiful for the golf course. Yeah. So they right away provided him a ceremony and gave him the flag, and so he'll always have that memory.
There's a picture of him with he'll always remember he got a hole-in-one at the golf course because they got the thing. It says hole-in-one.
Yes. Yeah.
So what's next?
Well,
what are you going to do for an encore?
Right. Well, it's most definitely, we're in the processes of putting a final report together. So every aspect of the event will now give us the feedback, the good and the challenges that came with that. And then we'll go back together as the Medicine Hat Alberta Games Society, and we'll review them. Like, what is the capacity of our community? Were we able to provide everything that we needed to, or we make recommendations to council and to tourism on what might look different in order to embrace something as a national level event. We've known always that we do provincial ones. We really rock those. We've had those quite extensively over the last 30 years. But this at a national level was a whole other aspect. It was bilingual. It had a lot of protocol to it and I think we rose to the occasion for sure. But we definitely have some things to consider and then look to see what the future holds.
Well, you've got the machinery.
We sure do.
And I've heard people whispering, Memorial Cup.
I know.
I know. I've heard that too already.
Yes.
And there was another thing that was neat is to actually have a person, like one of our special athletes, included in the last leg of the torch run. That was so amazing to see it. And to even see him, like, do the polar plunge.
Yeah.
There were some beautiful moments for Corbett, for our local people, certainly.
We had 6 of our games committee actually did the polar plunge too.
Yes.
Yeah. A little bit easier to do it in this weather than it would be back in...
It was still cold.
Oh, was it?
I actually did the solar plunge. It was still cold, but like they said, wouldn't it be as cold as in the winter?
Yeah.
That's right, for sure.
Yeah.
And when we Whisper Memorial Cup, we did put our bid in. I was part of that bid committee as well, and there was some things that came forward that they would consider, that Medicine Hat has to consider, and accommodation sites are a part of that, and what we have available, and to what star, like 3 to 5 star hotels. So those were some of the things that were acknowledged, and from this as well, I can tell you the beautiful people in the catering world in Medicine Hat, led by Stan Sakamoto, that had to actually pivot in the sense that we don't have accommodation sites that have food services. Very few do. Thankfully, some do, so that to take the onus off of that. But we had to cater in to all the hotel sites in order to make that happen. So a lot going on, a lot of things to pull from, and a lot of learnings. And we'll bring all those forward and look forward to putting bids for other things.
You've set a template for others to follow and a tough act to follow. And I noted when I looked at the web page that you're still accepting donations.
It's true, because the funding goes to Special Olympics Canada, Special Olympics Alberta, and Special Olympics Medicine Hat. So any legacy funding, that is where it goes back to. So those programs can always use support. So anyone who has maybe had a good feeling of this event, will make sure that that legacy gets put forward to other places.
The national games are over. What happens with our local athletes now? Do they continue to play their sports?
Yes, we could. Like next Sunday, we actually are having a registration for our winter sports.
Okay.
And we also have a few summer sports.
Yeah. So the athletes continue.
Yeah.
They sure do.
Yeah.
There's a very active group already. And from this event, I can share with you that certainly people are more wanting to be part of Special Olympics Medicine Hat's chapter, whether it's coaching or considered to be a board member.
Or trying to get, like Natalie was saying, there was a guy that would like to try to get soccer, which we tried to do, but it didn't work out.
Well, there's still work to be done there.
Absolutely, and I think we can always continue to support that aspect of our community for sure.
This question is kind of like asking you to pick your favorite child. But what was your most special memory?
Actually, I have two that are the same, but it was meeting the Governor General and being able to present medals to rhythmic gymnastics, because rhythmic gymnastics is similar to my winter sport of figure skating.
Yeah.
And some of them athletes, if I make it to nationals in winter, I might see some of them.
Okay, yeah. Natalie?
That's really
I
hard.
know it's
Brian.
a hard one.
I think that the biggest joy is all the planning, all the directors and the chair people and the staff that have been working so hard for all these years or the thousands of hours, and then it all came to fruition. And that I think that is the most proud moment, that's to see everybody else have an enjoyable time and that it came together. And that's just kind of a huge group hug to all the people that had done that and deserve all the accolades. It's a city, it took a community to do it, and that's definitely how it went. So I did say, the volunteer appreciation, that I've never been prouder to be a Medicine Hatter, and that will always stay, for sure.
I think also it would be like, we would face it was kind of hard to see the athletes, but what Natalie was saying, and then one of my fellow athlete ambassadors tapped me on my shoulder and goes, "Look," and all you saw is it kind of looked like a wave at a Tiger hockey game when the athletes are starting to stand to thank the volunteers.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So I think if you were going to sum it up in 3 words, we did it, or you did it.
We did it. We shone together.
Yes.
We shine together would be our 3 words,
Yep.
wouldn't they? Yes. Yeah, well, we did. Medicine Hat shone. Thank you.
Anything else you want to add before we say goodbye?
No.
Okay. Natalie, you're happy?
I'm thrilled, and thank you for this opportunity. And we just look forward to embracing our community. I will share that Councillor Yusuf Muhammad said to me just at the closing ceremonies, "I don't think I've seen Medicine Hat happier in a long time." And I would share the same sentiment, that I agree, and I hope we keep that beautiful feeling for a long time to come.
Yes.
Amen.
Okay.
Natalie Sauer and Linda McDonald, thank you for the visit.
You're welcome.
It was our pleasure. Hey, Linda. Thank you.
Hey, this is Brian again, and I'd like to ask you to do a favor. We can't do this work without people like you, so if you can, please like, share, subscribe, and tell your friends about Bring Back the Porch.